Hello there, and welcome to another video devotional for Farmersville United Methodist Church. I am Pastor Henry. Friends, last week I asked the question, what are we hungry for? This week I am going to ask, what is the vision toward which we move? Now, we ask not just what does God look like or how we recognize God's presence in the world, but what would the world look like when it's aware of that presence? What would we look like, or what would our community look like if we realize and we really believe what we say about Jesus and about grace and salvation? How would it be reflected in our relationships, in our conversations, in even on our daily lives, right? So, friends, this week we're going to continue exploring the Gospel of Matthew. We reach chapter 14, verses 22 to 23. This is the story of Jesus walking on water, which follows the story of the feeding of the 5,000, and it is also considered another miracle. Now, just as the disciples did then, they do it once again. They try to find the resources within themselves to resolve the problem, but without success. And so, once again, they learn that they need Jesus to save the situation and even themselves. And I believe we do too. Now, we've heard this story before. It is written in John's and Mark's gospel, with slight differences. But in Matthew, this is the only one that tells us that Peter wanted to walk on water. And also, Matthew wrote a little bit about that in a different situation back in chapter 8. Now, there is a constant in all the stories, besides the storm that opposes the boat, and that constant is that of fear. But one thing stands out in this account from Matthew 14. It's a frightening thing to be in a small boat, far from the shore, in a storm, but neither Matthew nor John tells us that the disciples are afraid of the storm. The problem is that when they saw Jesus, they were afraid. See, my friends, the storm, while dangerous, is familiar. The disciples know what to expect from a storm and what to do to keep the boat afloat. They do not know anything about men walking on water far from land. And they fear is what they're seeing, and they're saying, hey, it could be a ghost, right? Now, friends, at the beginning I said that we're asking, what are we seeking? And the idea is that we're talking about kingdom living. We're talking about the community of faith representing the body of Christ. So even when we face opposition, and believe me when I say this, the church is always going to face some kind of opposition. This story mirrors exactly the situation of our churches today. It holds a promise that Jesus comes to Christians in the midst of storms, that the storms does not hold the upper hand, and that Christ is present with us in the storm and redeems us from the storm. Now, this story reassures us that even in the midst of troubles, we need not fear. See, friends, Jesus is present with us. It offers the same reassurance in times of illness and death, persecution, and other kinds of troubles. It prepares us from times when things are going badly and also when things are going well. Sure, now think about this. Adversity is not a sign of God's displeasure, or prosperity is a sign of God's pleasure. Wealth does not equate to God's favor, or poverty to unfavor. Illness is not a sign of inadequate faith, or health a sign of great health. Jesus said that God makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and the unjust. Now, in contradictions, my dear friends, the storms of life can be means of blessing. Like Peter, when things are going badly, our hearts are more receptive to Jesus. See, brothers and sisters, a broken heart is often a door through which Christ can find entry. He still comes to us in the midst of our trouble, saying, take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid. And with this reassurance, maybe, just maybe, all of us can walk on water. If you want to do that, please come join us here at Farmersville United Methodist Church. We are located at 110 West Center Street in Farmersville, Ohio, and we worship in person every Sunday at 9:30. If not, continue worshiping with us online through our on-demand service starting every Sunday throughout the week through our Facebook page or YouTube channel. Until next time, God bless you.